They say mirrors reflect the soul. But what if they reflect something else? I grew up in a small town where everyone knew everyone's business. My parents always warned me about keeping my friends close and my enemies closer. Because of them, I became the best liar, manipulator, and people pleaser anyone ever knew. I could have gotten away with it too, if it hadn't been for that stupid mirror. It all started 2 years ago after my parents died in a freak car crash. They were both doctors, and since I had no other family, my aunt took me in. She's been nothing but kind to me. Too kind. She let me move into her old farmhouse and gave me an allowance and bought me all the things I wanted. All she asked in return was that I do well in school, keep my grades up and not cause any trouble. Fair exchange, I thought. But she also had one weird rule. I was never allowed to enter the attic. I told her I didn't want to bother her, so she left it alone. Weeks passed. Then one night during a raging thunderstorm, the power went out. I walked down the long hallway of her house searching for a flashlight when I noticed something. In the flickering light of the storm, I could see the attic door across the hall, partially open. Aunt Martha always kept that door closed. It was locked with a deadbolt, the key of which she carried on her person at all times. Curiosity overwhelmed me. I approached the door. To my surprise, I could push it open easily. The stairs creaked under my weight. The attic was filled with cobwebs and dust motes danced in the flashes of lightning. The space was cluttered with old furniture and boxes. But what immediately caught my attention was an antique mirror leaning against the wall. It was almost floor to ceiling, ornately carved with strange symbols and faces. Something about it made the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. I felt a sudden urge to smash it, but then I thought better of it. This was my aunt's house, after all. I decided to inspect it more closely. As I stared into the glass, I saw my reflection. But standing directly behind me was another girl. Her skin was pale, almost translucent, like porcelain. Eyes were jet black and soulless. And she wore a tattered white dress that looked like it had been ripped to shreds. Her lips curled into a sinister smile, but I couldn't tell if she was smiling at me or mocking me. Startled, I whirled around. No one was there. But when I looked back at the mirror, she was still standing there, smiling. Was I going crazy? Had the stress from school finally driven me over the edge? I turned away from the mirror and fled. Back in the safety of my room, I tried to shake off the terrifying vision. But the longer I thought about it, the more convinced I became that I hadn't imagined her. I questioned myself. Who was she? How did she get into the house? Why was she spying on me? I considered telling my aunt about the girl, but I hesitated. What would she say? Think I'd finally lost my mind? Would she send me to a hospital for observation? I decided to keep quiet. I pushed the incident out of my thoughts and tried to focus on my upcoming exams. But the mirror had other plans. That night I woke up from a nightmare. The girl was there again, staring at me from our shared bedroom mirror. She beckoned with a finger, urging me to follow her. But before I could respond, I awoke in my bed, drenched in sweat. I told myself it was just a dream, yet I couldn't shake the feeling that something ominous was happening. Then it happened again and again. Every night the girl would appear in my dreams, enticing me to come closer. Each time, she beckoned with one more finger until she had summoned me 4 times. That's when I knew I had to find out who she was and put an end to her nightly visits. At school, I confided in my best friend Riley. He listened patiently to my story, and when I reached the part about the mirror, he exclaimed, "Whoa, hold on. So you're saying you need to destroy the mirror?" Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't want to hurt anyone, but she scares me. Plus, it feels wrong, like it's bad luck. Riley nodded understandingly. Okay, sure, whatever you want to do. But have you tried asking her nicely to leave? No. Well, how about you try that first? See if she wants to talk. Maybe there's a reason she's haunting you, or maybe she needs your help. But how can I help her if she won't tell me what she wants? I don't know. Look, why don't we go to the library? You can look up your creepy mirror in the card catalog and see if there are any records about it. And while you're at it, you can see if you can find any ghost stories about the house. Great idea, thanks, Riley. At the library, I scoured the local history section for anything about my aunt's house. But the books offered little more than gossip about the town's founding families and descriptions of the flora and fauna in the area. Disappointed, I sat down at a table to plan my next move. when I noticed a yellowed newspaper clipping tucked behind a book. Its headline read, "Girl Vanishes After Mirror Ritual minus 1,897. The article detailed the mysterious disappearance of a young girl named Eliza Moore, according to the locals. She believed mirrors were portals to another dimension. At 3:33 a.m., she performed a ritual by standing in front of an antique mirror, summoning a spirit to inhabit her body and carry her away to an unknown realm. But the girl never returned home. The townspeople searched for her, but her body was never found, and the case was eventually closed with no answers. As I read through the details, a chill ran down my spine. Could this Eliza Moore be the ghost girl haunting me? Did she possess my own reflection and intend to pull me into her world? The thought terrified me. But as the days passed, I realized I had no choice but to confront my fear. Eliza's presence grew stronger. She appeared in my dreams every night, urging me to join her in the mirror. And each time, she beckoned with one more finger until she had summoned me 7 times. I returned to the library to research the lore surrounding mirrors and the occult. What I learned only deepened the mystery. Mirrors were often considered portals between worlds, and certain rituals were said to enable spirits to pass through them. Some rituals required specific mirrors, like those with unusual carvings or those made during certain dates. And others demanded precise timing, such as performing the ritual at 3:33 a.m. Armed with my newfound knowledge, I decided to take action. But first, I needed answers. I returned to the attic. Standing before the mirror, I traced the intricate carvings, hoping to uncover their meaning. Suddenly, I noticed a faint inscription along the frame. It read, "To unlock the gateway, speak the name thrice at the witching hour." Was this the missing piece of the puzzle? Had Eliza left me clues to unravel the mystery? If so, I had to act fast. That night, I returned to the attic, lit a candle, stood before the mirror and whispered, "Eliza Moore, Eliza Moore, Eliza Moore." At first, nothing happened. Then my reflection blinked. But I didn't blink. It smiled, but I didn't smile. And then it stepped toward me. I stood frozen. The candle went out. When it flickered back on, I wasn't in my room anymore. Everything was reversed. I was inside the mirror. Behind me stood Eliza. She was wearing the same white dress I'd seen in my nightmares, except now it was torn and stained. She looked at me with hollow black eyes and a twisted smile. "You called me," she rasped, her voice like nails on a chalkboard. "Now, take my place." I turned to run, but there was no way out. In the real world, she had taken my face and walked away in my body, and I was trapped, screaming silently inside the mirror. And here I am today, 6 years later, still trapped in this mirror, watching her live my life. Tried escaping, but it's no use. She's too strong. I can feel her soul seeping into my bones. Soon she completely replaced me. And that's where I need your help. If you believe me, write down these words. Don't trust the girl in the mirror. Never say her name, not at 3:33 a.m. By sharing my story, I hope to warn others about the dangers of the occult and remind them that some mysteries are best left unsolved.